Hey everybody, it's Tyler of Vire Sabers. So, there has been some changes made to the Luke sabers since the last video I made regarding them. I know you used to have to take them apart to charge them. That is no longer the case, and I will show you why. You used to have to completely disassemble all this to take off the grip to get to the battery. Now, if you look under here, there's actually a USB Type-C port, and you'll get a USB-C cable along with your order. But if for some reason you still need to get in here, sometimes we've been having issues where if the battery goes 100% dead and then you charge it, it'll fully charge and then it just won't turn on. The board seemed to be going into some sort of protection mode because it thinks it got overcharged. So to reset that, what we're going to do, go ahead and pull this out, get a little bit of glue here, and then a spring button. And I should also mention, this is not the NeoPixel version, this is just the baselit version. So you're going to pop that off, come in here, and loosen this up. You want to back it off. You don't have to back it all the way out, but you definitely want to back it off enough that you're not going to scratch up your hilt when you pull it off. And then you've got this little button here, that'll actually just fall right out if you hold it upside down. Okay, so we slide that off and out. Now, this screw right here in the back is actually what's holding the entire electronics kit in place. Now, you can possibly get away with unscrewing it without undoing this, but the problem is these wires in here that lead all the way up to the LED, if you don't have enough slack, you can potentially twist the wires to the point where it'll rip, and you don't want to do that. So, come in here. We'll remove this screw really quick just to be safe. Okay, and you'll notice already that this is starting to slide out. Now, we don't have enough slack to pull this all the way out, so be very careful. The reason we don't have enough slack is because, I'll just take it apart and show you. So, now I don't want to twist this, so I'm going to hold this with my hand, and I'm just going to twist the handle. Okay. So the chassis itself is not spinning. Okay. Okay. This is kind of what you're looking at on the inside here. And again, you really shouldn't have to get in here for anything, but if you do, this is how it's done. Okay. So you'll see in here we have a quick connect going all the way down through into the LED module. Okay. You got your board there, speakers down here. Alright, so if you got to remove the battery, you can pop that out, wait, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds just to make sure it resets everything. And you can pop it back in. Okay, so now we need to line this back up. We're going to take this, slide it on over here. And then you can pull this through. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm still on camera at the same time here. Okay. So again, I'm going to hold this in place so that it doesn't spin. And then I'm going to screw on this. The chassis is not spinning as I twist this on. This is just the safest way to do it. That way you know that you're not twisting your wires up. Okay. So now, take a look at our hole here. And we're just going to rotate this around until we find the button, and there it is. Oop. Okay, well, it would have helped if I was aiming at the camera, sorry. So we'll twist it around until you find the button, and there it is. Okay. So now if you flip this over to the back side, you can see we got that little hole there. As you twist it around, I don't know, you can kind of see it on the camera, but you see how I got that hole right there for the screw? I'm going to hold that in place, and then we're going to try to work our screw back into this. And you don't want to torque this down too much. All it's meant to do is just hold it in place. If you twist too much, it'll strip it right out. So I'm just barely, just snugging it up. Okay, so it's going to hold that into place. You can see we still have our button here. And before we put everything back together, it's a good idea to just give it a test click just to make sure everything's still working. So you can use your button here to reach down and press that. Okay, that's still good. Turn that back off. Now we can slide this little sleeve back over it. Okay, just make sure that this is lined up. And then we can take this, tighten it back down. And you really don't need to crank on it, but definitely want it snugged up. Okay, so that's not going anywhere. Now we can test our button again, make sure it still turns on. This little guy just drops right in there. Okay, so that's set. Now we can put our card back on. Now, if you notice that your card is a little loose, you can always add a little bit more hot glue right here. This is kind of like the counter push to the springy button over here. On some of the newer models that have Profi, if they're a 2-button setup, they would have a springy button on both sides. But since we don't, it's just held in there with the glue. It kind of gives it like a rubbery pushback. Okay, so to put this card back in, we're going to start it, and then we're going to use our finger to push down on the button, and then push it over the glue, and that'll hold it in there pretty good. And like I said, if this is just a little bit too loose for you, if it's sliding around, just put a little bit extra, just put a little extra hot glue down there. Okay, you got your recharge port here, and now you can put this back on. Cool. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps out. It's really not too complicated, but if you don't know where to start, it can be a little troubling. So hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us. Usually if you need to get a hold of me, Facebook Messenger for the Vire Sabers page is the easiest. People like to send emails, and that's fine. It just, sometimes they get lost. So Messenger is always the easiest, but we will respond to emails. So either way, thanks a lot. Have a good one.